Some incredible RELL Seas news was just released by the game owners, and I promise you are going to be so happy after seeing what they posted. And I'm talking about beautiful sneak peeks, some really good PvP information, potential release date hints, and so much more. So let me just start by showing you this absolutely insane sneak peek they just dropped. Look at this picture right here. We've got a player standing on a boat during the nighttime, and I'm not even joking when I say this, but it might be the most aesthetic thing I've seen on a Roblox game before. The lighting, the atmosphere, and the way everything just comes together, nobody is doing it like RELL Seas right now. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because if you look closely at this image, you can actually see a new feature in the game that nobody really expected. Do you see that lantern the player is holding? This isn't just some random decoration, this is a brand new mechanic that will actually be really useful in a game like RELL Seas. It looks like you'll be able to use this as a personal light source that stays attached to you when it's dark. Think about how game-changing this is going to be. When you're exploring those deep caves or mysterious areas at night, you won't just be stumbling around in complete darkness anymore or having to turn your screen's brightness all the way to max. This lantern system is going to make exploration feel so much more immersive and realistic as well. But stick with me here because there's something else in this image that's even more mind-blowing. Looking up at the sky, I hope you guys can see that moon. It may seem like a small detail, but it actually kind of confirms one of my theories for the game. Comparing it to another sneak peek I saw, it proves the fact that the moon actually has different phases, just like in real life how it changes every day. And if you've ever played games like Blox Fruits, you know exactly why this matters. The moon phases are actually going to have specific purposes in the game. So maybe certain abilities get stronger during a full moon, or maybe rare events only happen during specific phases. The possibilities are kind of endless, and this level of detail is exactly why I'm so hyped for this type of game. But there's one more thing in this image that reveals something pretty cool about the game system. So if you look at the top right corner, you can see what appears to be a list of roles that everyone on the server is playing, even though there's only one person in the server right now. But other games usually do something like this by having categories like civilians, pirates, and marines, and it looks like RELL Seas will have a system that's just like that. The only difference is, instead of being called pirates, RELL Seas looks like it's going to be calling it Badmans instead. But this is good news because imagine being able to see everyone in your server and what type of role they're playing. If you're a marine, you'll know exactly who to hunt down. If you're a pirate, you'll know exactly who to avoid. And this kind of system is really going to make the overall experience so much more strategic and intense, because you always have to be looking around and be like, okay, who's that and what role are they playing, Should I fight them or should I run away, and things like that. But yeah, just looking at the overall picture again, the visual quality we're seeing here is honestly on another level. Because the stars in the sky, the detailed textures on the boat, the realistic lighting effects. This doesn't even look like a Roblox game anymore. And this is just one screenshot. Imagine what the full game is gonna look like, you guys. I'm so excited. This is where things start to get really exciting, because RELL Sin just recently posted a tweet that proves we're getting way closer to release than anyone expected. The tweet says, "Optimization paid off, can't wait to show what we've been working on." And now if you don't understand why this is such huge news, let me break it down for you. Optimization is literally one of the very last steps in game development. This means they've already finished almost everything that's going to be in the game. They've finished all the major systems, completed all the core mechanics, and now they're just cleaning everything up, making sure that the game doesn't lag and that it runs smoothly and has a good frame rate for everyone. And speaking of frame rate, RELL Sin posted a screenshot of his game performance stats that's going to blow your mind. If you look closely, you can see that his game is running at 244 FPS. So let me put this into perspective for you. If you didn't already know, your frame rate is basically just how smooth and crispy your game feels when you're playing it, and most Roblox games average between like 30 to 120 FPS on a good day, but RELL Seas is pulling 244 FPS, which is absolutely insane. This means that when you're playing the game, everything is going to feel buttery smooth. Your movements, your combat, your interactions, everything is going to be incredibly responsive with practically no lag. This kind of performance is what separates good games from legendary games. When you can move and fight without any stuttering or delays, the entire experience just becomes so much more enjoyable. But aside from all that, there's actually something else that I noticed in that same exact screenshot that might hint at another major feature in RELL Seas. Right above the performance stats, I spotted a microphone icon, and this could potentially mean that voice chat might be included in RELL Seas. And just imagine being able to talk to your crew members in real time while sailing across the ocean, or maybe even start trash talking on another crew. And if this feature actually makes it into the final version of the game on release, it's going to take the social aspect to a completely different level. But moving on from that, let me show you the tweet that had me jumping out of my chair with excitement. Someone commented under RELL Seas' Twitter account saying, "I'm very interested to see how the combat and PvP feels. This is what makes an engaging experience. Excited to try it out." And guys, RELL Seas actually responded to this comment, and his response was exactly what I wanted to hear. He said, "So far, the 20+ testers are enjoying themselves with it. Everything shall be revealed in movie 3. So guys, do you understand what this means? It means that they've already been doing PvP testing for some time now. And so this isn't just imagination anymore. Real players are actually fighting each other in RELL Seas right now, and they're loving it. The fact that they have over 20 active testers means the PvP system is far enough along that they can actually balance it and get some feedback on it. And this is huge because it means we're really getting close to the release if they're basically done with the combat testing phase. But here's what gets me even more excited. RELL Seas specifically said that the testers are enjoying themselves with PvP. This was honestly my biggest worry about this game, because we've seen so many beautiful looking games that completely failed when it came to combat, like Arcane Odyssey for example. But now we have confirmation from actual players that the fighting feels good and is actually fun to engage with. So think about what this means for the final release. If testers who have probably played every other big Roblox anime game are saying that RELL Seas PvP is also enjoyable, then we're probably looking at combat that's either just as good or even better than the big Roblox games like Blox Fruits or Fruit Battlegrounds. Also, paired with the smooth 200 FPS performance we saw earlier, it's gonna make the PvP experience feel incredible. And then he concluded by saying everything will be revealed in movie 3, which means we are finally going to get the big reveal where they show off all the combat mechanics, all the PvP systems, and probably give us our first real look at how fights actually play out in the game. So the hype is actually through the roof right now, but let's keep going because there's so much more to this video that I've got to show you guys. Let me connect all the dots for you of everything I've shown you so far, because when you look at everything together, it really does show you a secret that the RELL Seas owners haven't told you. So we have optimization being completed, which is a final part of development we've been waiting for. And we also had active PvP testing with positive feedback from multiple testers. And finally, we have high quality visual content being shared with us pretty regularly. So all of these signs point to one specific thing. The game is much closer to release than most people realize. When developers start sharing optimization results and talking about how smooth their game feels, that's not something you do a long time before release. That's something you do when you're finally getting ready to launch the game to the world. The fact that they're confident enough to share their performance metrics means they believe their game is ready to handle real player traffic. And so they're not just hoping it will work at this point, they basically know it'll work because they've already tested it extensively. And here's something that I think a lot of people are missing. The quality of content they're sharing now is dramatically different from what they were sharing to us 6 months ago. Back then, we were getting basic screenshots of landscapes, clothing, and buildings, but now we're getting detailed shots that showcase complex lighting, eye-watering visuals, and cool gameplay mechanics. This progression tells us that they've moved on from building the foundation to now polishing up the final game. The lantern mechanics, the moon phases, the role identification systems, these are all features that get added when the core game is already solid and functional. But there's one more thing that makes me think the release is coming very soon. The way RELL Sin is talking about Movie 3 suggests that it's going to be the final big showcase of what players can expect from the game, including a potential release date. And since we know the movie is dropping pretty soon, the actual RELL Seas game will be coming shortly after that. So where does this leave us? Based on everything we've seen, I think we're looking at a release timeline that's much shorter than anyone really expected. The optimization phase, the successful PvP testing, the high quality content reveals, all of these indicators suggest that RELL Seas is nearly ready for the world. Because tell me why I've been seeing so many comments saying that RELL Seas is not going to be coming by 2025. It's probably going to be here at like 2026, 2027, or it's just never going to release. But obviously, now that we've got all of this information coming in, I promise it's coming very soon. And honestly, all this is really saying is that everyone should start getting mad hype for this game, because the level of polish and attention to detail we're seeing is exactly what the Roblox community has been waiting for. A game that doesn't just look good in screenshots, but actually delivers an incredible playing experience that lives up to the hype. So if you're as hyped about RELL Seas as I am, make sure to press subscribe before you head out and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any of the latest RELL Seas updates. And obviously, I'll be covering every single piece of news that comes out about this game, and trust me, you won't want to miss out on it.